thank you everybody for joining us today. We've got Victor Castro with us. Thank you, Victor, so much for joining us. A little bit about Victor. He comes from a large family of dentists and dental technicians in South America. He's been exposed to dentistry his whole life and got started in his parents' dental lab. Moved to Houston in '98 and spent the last 20 years working with some of the most prominent dental offices in Houston, specializing in functional and cosmetic dentistry. He graduated from Mechanical Dental School of New York in '94 and has over 30 years of experience in all phases of dental laboratory technology. He spent years studying advanced techniques from around the world, including Claude Sieber and Willy Geller. Victor is a member of the Art and Experience, a dental technicians group led by Claude Sieber out of Switzerland. He's a board member of the National and International Dental Organizations of Progress in Science and Education with Ceramics, PROSEC. He lectures nationally and internationally and gives hands-on courses on various subjects related to lab technology. He's a master technician in porcelain aesthetic restorations, and he's the founder and president of Studio 280, a boutique prosthetic laboratory in Houston, Texas. So we're very lucky to have Victor with us today. So thank you so much for joining us. A couple of quick things before we get started. We've got a pretty big group today, so your phones will be on mute. If you guys have questions, please fill out that question box there on the side. I will be monitoring the questions, and I will jump in and ask them kind of as they come up. We will save a little time at the end for some more questions and stuff. This will be recorded. The other question I get is for CE credits. So CE credits and recording of this, we will probably send those out probably first next week. It takes us a day or two to get everything organized and the videos uploaded. So take a look for that first next week. If you don't see it, let us know and we'll definitely get that out to you. Anything else? Like I said, type it into the question box and I'll be happy to help. So without any further delay, I will turn this over to Victor. Okay, Victor, you are now the presenter.
Okay, everyone, thank you very much to take the time today to join us, for a little bit. This is going to be a kind of weird situation. I just watching myself in the screen. That is fun, but I assuming it's a few people in the other side listen, a few thoughts. This is just what I'm going to share with you guys just is a personal experience, what I've been doing for the last, in Houston, maybe 22 years now. I truly believe the best way to do dentistry today is be part of the team. Saying that, I want to, let me see, it's not working, sorry. I want to start, the most important thing we do every day today is we using machines, and we cannot forget we have to copy nature. I have a long time, I heard from my good friend Thomas Sin says, nature is not perfect, and that is reality. We try to recreate perfection, but dentistry is been going in the wrong direction, in my personal opinion, because of that. And today I see a lot of beautiful, beautiful cases in social media, but they're so perfect. Every single patient has the same smile, and that is wrong. And and for what I do, a lot of people they ask me through the time, it's not about dentistry. The later questions I have is not about dentistry. It's more about how I run the business, what I do different in my business to do what I do. The people, they know me very close. Lately I work less hours and less hours, and it's not because I do less work. It's I become more efficient. Fortunately, I can charge a little bit more for what I do, and the reason is not because I do what everybody is doing. the reason is because I've been taking technology like everyone, but I've been taking technology not to make teeth, is to please or to recreate a smile for patients. My main goal, like Simon Sinek says in the most famous talk, is you have to find in the white. I cannot think I did in one point in my life, and it's not. I don't do, or I don't make teeth every day to please dentists anymore. I'm working in this industry to work with people, and at the end of the day, the people. Sorry, the computer is not working. Give me just 1 second. Sorry about this, guys. Where we got every day is with people. You know, we make teeth, but to reestablish smile, to reestablish the way they eat. And I see everyday cases like this in my office. I'm going to start with something very simple, something small, simple, but I think it's going to take, or it's going to lead in the right way when we're going to talk later on with the big cases. Is unfortunately, you know, we've been not planning surgeries. And that is the point. You know, we, as a technicians, we've been sitting and waiting for the prosthodontic or the general dentist to say, hey, Victor, can you help me to finish this case? I have these implants from the surgery, and now I need to make a prosthesis. And, you know, you find it, and in the past, I used to believe acrylic is not the best material. I still believe I like more the ceramic. I'm a ceramic guy, but I see cases in plastic that are really nice. But the topic today is zirconia. You know, with the zirconia is whatever is in the mouth, I can take it. And unfortunately, the computer is running very slow. I don't know exactly what happened. Sorry, guys. But to do, sorry for, no, it's this software. It's not working. Hello, can you hear me on the other side? Please, somebody raise hands and let me know if everything is working, sorry. It's working? Okay. It's working, can you raise the hands? Somebody tell me if it's working. Okay, now it's working. You know, using technology is the way I can approach the cases I do, or we make together with the doctors. But the most important is not using technology just to make the case, is to plan the cases. Wow. Hey, can we do something here? It's not running my presentation, unfortunately. It's like it's having.
We can, Victor, we can hear you fine, and I can see you. And your slides are coming just slowly.
They come in really slow, so give me just 1 second. Let me see if I can do something very quick here. I need to, sorry about this, guys. For this, Oh, technology is killing me right now. You know, I'm talking about technology every day. And as you know, this is what happened. And sometimes this happened during the procedures in the surgeries. But let me go, and I'm gonna have to quit for a second here. Okay, it's quitting. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me, please?
Yep, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, bear with me for a second, and I'm gonna jump in something different here. Just saying, you know, the problem is my computer is not running, it's stuck. And I don't want to disconnect the computer. Is recording right now?
Yes, the whole webinar is being recorded, but we can always edit out section if we need to for the future.
Yes, please. Okay, now it's out. I think some programs that are running in my computer, they make the computer slow right now. Maybe it's that. I don't have. You can still hear me. You can still bear with me there. Sorry guys, but sorry about the big inconvenience here. Okay, finally. Perfect. Now I can go. Again, let me recap here. Perfect. Okay, the way I do it today, you know, let me go back very quick to this case, is we design everything in the computer. Unfortunately, you know, in the past and many times, we have to take cases that already been placed the implants, and we have to go and move forward with that one. You know, those are the ones, the most challenging cases. The most important is the integral surface in those cases, because implants, has to be clean. And that is something we talk with my doctors all the time. We don't want to get peri-implantitis in the future. You know, we have to be the cases hygiene. When the tissue is not being conditioned from the very start to go with the case, many times the best option for us is zirconia today or ceramic. Why is that? Because it's more easy to clean without creating any without creating any integral surface opening when they go into the polishing aspect, church side. You know, the design of these cases can be so simple, and again, the computer is stuck. But anyway, we pretty much we do the cutback manually in these cases. I'm still doing a lot of manually cutbacks for a small frameworks. For the big frameworks, usually I like to do I use the ExoCAD in my office, and we do the cutbacks from ExoCAD Circumscan. And I think I have to go outside of the presentation, and I'm gonna present direct into if everybody agree, I have to go like this. Sorry, guys, and it's gonna be more. It's not that fun, but I think it's gonna be better like that. Sorry. We can do a lot of things with the zirconia today. You know, we can introduce coloring. We have a beautiful zirconias today in the market. The most I use is the ST from VITA, the translucency and the light reflection I got today is getting very close to what I used to be with my porcelain fused to metal. In the same time, you know, I can get, like I mentioned before, with a good opacity, but I get a really good translucency. I'm gonna show you today. We have a great products to use over these materials, but in the same time, you know, we have a high fusing, we have a low fusing. Personal, my tendency today is gonna be more into the low fusing ceramics over the zirconia. It's just one reason, you know, when you fire ceramic and you send them to almost 900 degrees and that oven opens, running the program in the high fusing ceramics like a VITA DM9, it takes maybe between 1 hour, 2 hours and 15 minutes because of the cool down cycling. Today I use a low fusing ceramics. I've been happy to use for these cases Lumex. It's a Lumex case, but this is something is very important for me. If you notice, this is the design. This is, you know, all these areas that are very nice. I'm gonna explain you a little bit more what I do later on, but we start creating something is hygienic for the patient. That is the most important. I see a beautiful cases, like I said before, online, but you know, they're horseshoe over the tissue and can be beautiful, can be well made, but the implants, they're not gonna survive. And I tell you, I see a lot of remake cases in my office, and it's because of that, the poor design of the intaglio surface. And you know, today with the zirconia, it's amazing how we can do try-ins. You know, I can do a digital try-in today, you know, using the cameras and everything. That is a totally different class, but you know, I can try before I go when I do a partial cases. Even the single unit for the single central is being a game changer, pretty much doing the digital try-ins. But still, we working in people. You know, this case was nice, but the patient, you know, I never get the pictures of the patient, the facial picture. We work by mail this case, and it was everything I got in that point. But go into the point right now, you know, doing the full mouth reconstructions is the most important for these cases, is basically to understand what is the AP spread. If, as a technicians, as we don't understand that part, we cannot communicate with our doctors, because I gotta say something today, technicians, that are the most important part of the design before you go into the surgery for these cases, pulmonary cases, is just one reason. The majority of the laboratories in these days, they have technology. We have exocad, we have a CAD designs, you know, we can design the cases digital using STL5 from the mouth, DICOM files to see what is the position of the bone. We know exactly what happened inside of the mouth before we do anything. And not too many clinics, they have that ability. It's a few clinics, they have the whole systems, but not too many, they have that. And you know, since that, as a technician, we have to be, we are the ones we involved from the very start. And I can see it's growing more and more places that only they do is a digital designs and digital planning for cases. It means that it's a technicians doing that. Like I say, we have to have the understanding what are we doing and why are we doing this before we planning a case. And when my friends, they come in and say, the doctor is giving me this kind of cases, I truly believe today is because you didn't have the ability to communicate to your doctors how you need the case to start up the case. You know, in the past, we used to do just a simple wax up with denture teeth or regular wax ups to determine what is the first molar occlusion, and that is the most important. You know, I gotta go back again and say, you know, I love social media and I look in all those cases in social media, but they finish in the second bicuspid. That is something wrong. That means we give back to the patient just a smile, but we don't give back patients function. And then those patients, they coming back into the practice and they say, oh, the ceramic in this area cheap, or the acrylic is the laterals and the bicuspid, they are breaking out of the acrylic. In general, that is what happened. Or in the ceramic, usually ceramic crack around the laterals and the cuspid. That is normal, because all the forces they're putting here, and it's no true occlusion forces in the cases today. You know, let's plan the cases. Let's sit together with the doctors. You know, one of the recommendations I always do to my friends is go back and don't looking for a new accounts, looking to join to study groups led by periodontists or maxillofacial. If you get in those groups, you're gonna have the opportunity to learn together with the whole group, that's one, to join forces with the periodontist or the maxillofacial, and that way when he got a new case, he's gonna go to you and he's gonna ask you to lead and move forward to do a case is gonna be successful because you are involved. You know, we done cases like this. I did a case. You know, at one point in my life, I was feeling so proud about the pictures because I saved the case. I didn't save anything. You know, I make something really nice, beautiful pictures, but you know the patient lost the implant. After 3 years, these implants is out for many reasons, you know, but the goal here is to understand for our failures is no planning, is no case. You know, cases like this, you know, when you have a horseshoe, they fail. This case, unfortunately, all the 4 implants fail after, I think it was like 3.5 years. Doctor called me and asked me if we can use the same file to do the models to do a denture because all the implants was loose and he didn't understand why. I know why now. You know, was no planning in the start. That's why today, you know, we have all this digital artificial intelligence using in the computers, but human intelligence is the most important. You know, like cases like this, why if you're gonna remove all the teeth, first you have to move orthodontically the teeth. Because if you don't move orthodontically the teeth and you don't reestablish the bite before you extract, the implants, they're gonna be placed wherever the bone it is. And it's gonna be a failure. You know, some patients, they don't understand, but when you see them explain what is gonna be the treatment and the doctor is doing the treatment, has the ability to explain, you have a success cases. You know, this one was not the most beautiful success case in that time, but was done almost 11 years ago and is still in the mouth perfectly. You know, we did the whole protocol, we did the temporary without denture teeth, we did the prototype in that time using the Annex Plus, and then we did the zirconia, full layer zirconia. This is a case when we used to have the white zirconia, have to go on full layer zirconia. It's still working in the mouth. You know, I think it was like 2 months ago, the patient was in the dental office doing the hygiene, and they told me everything is still perfectly fine. You know, one of the most important things, if you notice here in this area, we need to restore what is missing. We just put 2 extra crowns there. It was not the most nicely, but you know, we have to restore. You know, we have to plan. Since that, planning is the most important thing. Planning is when we have to do. I'm going to present you 3 different ways I've been planning my cases in life through this process. The first one is when the patients present into the office. You know, we can, if it's a dentulous patient, we cannot use the existing prosthesis to go to a surgery. That is a big mistake. Usually an existing prosthesis, the teeth are not in the right position. You know, in my time, when I used to do some denture setups, I used to use teeth and just set up the teeth in the right position. Today it's more easy. Today we can do everything digital and move the teeth around. You know, the doctor asked me what we can do here. He planning to do all this, and he say, how are we gonna do it? If you look at it, this ridge, what is gonna happen in this ridge? This ridge is gonna create something, it's called a ridge lap, a horseshoe intaglio surface. That is not bueno, that doesn't work. You know, between the digital and the analog, you know, we used to work in that time. It was not 100% analog, it was not 100% digital, but we used to use some denture teeth. We come, we do the dentures, we put it in the mouth, we try the phonetic. Was easy because it's a dentulous. Based on that, we can go and we can start working the whole surgery. But still, my problem is the ridge. You know, just like Marco Trados mentioned a long time ago in one of his posts online, and I was amazed the way he explained, horseshoe doesn't work. We need to create a concave anatomy. Today, we're more into the flat with my doctor, but cases like this, when you're planning, you have to do sometimes an extra surgeries. The extra surgery was split the bone, bone grafting. Unfortunately, the patient has to go with this kind of denture for a few weeks or few months. Actually, it was 2 months. I was miserable for the patient, but we create something is going to be successful. Besides that, after that, we can go and just plan in the whole surgery. We can plan in, you know, any way you want. You can plan in analog way, you can plan in digital way. In that time, we did we did a guidance surgery using, I think, I don't remember, Simplan company was one of the best ones in that time. We planned the whole thing. You know, my doctor, the 2 periodontists I work, they truly don't believe in AP spread. That is the reason they always put 6 implants. They never put 4. And that way, nobody has to worry about AP spread. That is reality. We learning AP, you know, the AP spread is so important for the cases. 4 implants versus 6 implants, you know, many people, you know, say it's another $500, $600, I don't know how much the implant, but the headache for the clinic, the headache for the lab, the knowing you're gonna have something stable to restore and to give the patient what the patient is asking for. Remember, the patients, when they come into the clinic, to the dental office, they don't ask. They don't come because they want the implants. They don't understand about implants. They don't understand removing bone. They don't understand tissue connection. You know, they don't understand preparations. They only want to see is teeth. They want to smile and eat again. You know, they want to feel good. You know, this case, after the surgery, put the implants, we did the conventional conversion. You know, that was the time we used to do it. The periodontist used to do that exercise. I did a couple times for them at the office, and after that, he got the way. But this is the most important. This is why we talk with the physician is flat surface, flat surface. This is the day of the surgery, and we have an agreement with my friend Wiesen Salha, is he never touched this area. When he places in the patient's mouth, if he need to adjust the bone, he's gonna do it. He never adjusts the prosthesis. He always adjusts the bone and the tissue to make the prosthesis start forming the intaglio surface the way we need. You know, this happened many times. This happened, I feel all you guys have that call from the physician, say, oh, the temporary broke, what are we gonna do? How we can do it? Can you do another one? And usually this happens over Saturday and Sunday, and that way you have to working over the weekend. They expecting that, but you know, but this is not a problem about the materials. Like he called me that time and say, maybe it's the material. I say, it's not the material. Please remember what we saw here. You know, when we started the case, unfortunately, was something. We catch it, those 3 crowns was made was too high. That's the reason this part on the upper teeth was chipping in a regional way. We asked the patient to make a new crowns. The patient didn't want to go into the spins, but we got an agreement. At one point, we have to shorten the crowns a little bit. Unfortunately, we didn't took the decision the day of the temporarization, and we pay off that. Let me see if I can move this here for a second. Okay. After we saw that, before we move into the upper prosthesis, we decide to place a couple crowns in the lower arch to fix the problem we have. It was not the material. The material was good from the very start. You know, acrylic lasts for a long time. Was the occlusion was the issue. And after we fixed the occlusion, everything went fine. In a second. This is, let me go back outside. Sorry, I feel more comfortable presenting to you guys outside of, in that way. You can run a little bit faster the computer. Give me a second. It's still the problem. We have any questions so far? I don't see it. Unfortunately, I have everything turned off. Raise your hand if you have any question. Don't. Okay. After we remove the prosthesis from the patient's mouth after a few months, this is where we want to see it. It's still a flat surface. That is the best design for our frameworks. You know, the idea, the framework design is coming from the surgery. The surgery and the pre-workout is the one is give us. Why I like more ceramic, this is the reason. When the people, they ask me, why you try to do all the time zirconia and you don't want to do acrylic anymore? That is the main reason for me. I know people, they can do a beautiful cases. Hygiene is one of the problems I have with the acrylic, and the reason why the patients didn't know how to clean the teeth from the very start. That the majority of the patients there are in this stage, in this moment. But you know, when we go into the patient's mouth, this is a long success case from the hygiene perspective. This is already give me what I need to create my final prosthesis. Then the final is coming along, and it's coming along really easy, because they only have to do today, you know, using is duplicate the temporaries. I can do with the digital impressions. In that time, we used to take an impression of the prosthesis. We used to pour that one. Patient used to rush into my office. And after that, I used to scan. And after the scan, I used to create the prototype, go into the patient's mouth and try that prototype. Today with the technology is fascinating. We barely see patients running in that, but you see this area, Now we have function. You think this is gonna work, it's working. This patient, we work in this case 7 years ago, if I'm not wrong, 2015, that was done the case. We started in 2014, we finished in 2015. The cases I show you is the cases I truly believe they've been working and they're successful in the mouth, and is a reason why. After that, you know, I'm still a strong believer, and I'm still doing until today. I still micro layer my cases. I don't make any cases straight from the machine monolithic. Actually, I did one upper and lower just to try with the liver. It looks really nice. Looks really nice in the patient's mouth. But you know, guys, every time I see that case, I see so many cases very similar online because the library is the same. You know, I always say, like Enrique Stario showed me this picture a long time ago, honor your talent. Why some technicians can charge a little bit more than the other one if everybody has the same machines? You know, it's like when the doctor calls you, ask you why that IMAX round is more expensive than the other IMAX round. It's not the material, it's your talent, it's what you can do and what you can put into the treatment. You know, the finish the case is just the result of your knowledge to start the treatment into the case. And you know, if you believe the why you doing this, why you going this way, why you making the teeth, why you have to micro layer, you know, patients, they're gonna look for you. Doctors, they're gonna look for you, not for every single case, because you know, patients and doctors, they have budget also. But you're gonna make your niche. And like I say, and I'm gonna refresh that. If I have the majority, I know the majority of the people in the audience right now that are technicians. And I think I have a few doctors only, they call me, they're gonna join, but the majority of the technicians, please join in your education. You know, I don't sponsor, I'm not sponsored by Spear, but one of the best things happening in my life was join to a Spear group, because usually they are owned by, like I say, periodontists or maxillofacial. And through that, first, I got my refers. Second one, you know, we learn together with the team how to deal with the cases. And it's been grateful, you know. I don't want to say every single case is success. Right now, I'm working in a few new techniques with one of my doctors to try to come out with something more digitalized cases. And that way we don't have to take any try-ins. And, you know, we have some cases they've been going south so fast, but we try and we take the risk to do it together before we go into the patient's mouth. You know, after we finish, we can delivery. This is the most important part for me. If you notice, is not problem for us, the AP spread, because we have the distribution of the implant all the way across. Imagine if this case is only 4 implants. We stop here. That is the majority of the all and 4 cases today. We don't have a chewing surface. And remember, the patients that are coming from smile and eat. We have to accomplish those 2 things. And our responsibility as a technician or pros technicians is restore the mastication and the eating process. And the aesthetic is coming secondary in that point. Patients, they're happy. I love to see their eyes. I love to see their expression. And let me go really fast in this second case. We're gonna jump a little bit faster because timing went so bad. It's the same, we did this case 6 years ago. I think we already presented this case in in Chicago for you guys. I don't know if you're available to see it, but you know, when John presented this was John. He was a happy guy, but he was not happy about the teeth. He told me like that, I'm happy, but I don't like my teeth. We want to do something. Usually I interview the majority of the patients in the office before we start. I want to get that connections with the patient. Cases like this, we take the decision, we're gonna do a surgical guide surgery. We do some connecting tissue for some areas, immediate implant placement, immediate loading and temporization, and prosthesis. Let's go back, and this is something I always we follow by the clock. It's not, we never jump any steps. We do a WhatsApp, we do all the surgery digital before we move forward. We can see exactly where the teeth are gonna belong. We can see the implants, where are the positions. We can see the multi-units we're gonna use it. It's not 100% accurate. Usually I don't make this part. I have people, we have another companies, they do it, but I always involve with them to approve, because if I don't approve, basically, if something's going wrong in the future with my prosthesis because of the design or the implant placement or this intaglio surface design, I gotta be honest, it's not because it's not my problem, but it's not my fault. It's two different things. If I decide to do the case, it's my problem because I assuming to do the case, but it's not my fault. And I always, when you put it that way, and when it's your problem, but it's not your fault, and you're gonna charge for a remake because it's not your fault, everybody pay attention to make sure everything's going by the book. Right. That is my personal take in this. Usually after that, we do all the examination, every implant. We can go today with a surgical guide, we place the implant, the same platform, you remove the guidance, and it's the bone reduction guide. That is very important. The reduction guide is one of the most important things. You have to do it. The intaglio surface is what makes the case. The thickness, then the temporaries. This one was one of the first printing temporaries we did at that time. The temporary fits into the prosthesis, then we load it. We never have a problem with the bite. Usually the bites, they go right on. We have a protocol how to get the bites with the doctors. Today, we finish the prosthesis. Patients go home with a temporary. But like we mentioned before, this is the most important, the intaglio surface. Is already my framework design here? Yes. This is my design. This is my final design. I'm not gonna change anything. The only I'm gonna do is change the material, maybe enhance a little bit the coloring and everything. But I don't change the design. This is another printing. We use Anaxten and we print the prototype. We take a little bit extra and I put just a little bit composite, one color, the orange color, and everything was looking fine. We didn't change at all anything from the temporary to my prototype. But I gotta say, this is the case. This is the case for us. If you have enough implants to not worry about the AP spread, if you have a flat tissue, if the implants are in the position you needed for the final result, the only you have to do it in that point is copy meal if you want to, cut back, or this case, for example, was more easy after I get this prototype in my office. I cut back manually and then I did a copy meal. And that way I didn't have to do it on the green stage. One of the things I always do with my zirconia is I like to do A1 all the way across. I follow the recommendations of my good friend. He, they teach me a long time. A1 is like the more bony color, and I use a lot of gray color in the incisal. It's the most difficult thing for technicians is create the translucency in the zirconia in the incisal edge. For that, what I do it today is using a lot of gray. Gray color is infiltrate with gray, and it's still loading the picture. Now you can see. Now you can see how the gray color it is, and it's A1. That is my first infiltration and sintering, and after the sintering, I'm coming back and I glaze. I glaze in high fusing. I take my rays, and always, every single case I do, I take to glaze in the oven in 910 degrees with high fusing. And that way, I already have all the beauty of the zirconia just to come back and do my micro layer. And after the micro layer, oh, I think this is a little bit video. I think it's gonna work. Let's see if it works. We do a little micro layer. The micro layer doesn't take me that long. Today, I gotta be honest, what the longest take all these cases in the oven is maybe an hour. That is the longest because I use a low fusing ceramic. That one I did with the high fusing ceramic with the VITA BM9. Took almost the first fire went for like 1 hour and 25 minutes between the firing cycle and the cool down. A lot of people, they say you are crazy with the cool down cycles. Yes, I am. I am crazy with the cool down because I don't want cracks and remake the case again. And especially in that time when we used to do with the interfaces. With the interfaces, metal interfaces, Sorry, it's loading again. With the metal interfaces, if you have a change of thermal, sorry about this. Yes. Okay. If you have changes in the ceramic because the cool down is too fast, you have the crack, and then your case is in the trash. Usually this is my first bake. First bake is simple. I'm not crazy today. I'm going very simple. Then I do a second bake where I have all my coloring. You're talking about maybe 0.3 millimeter bake for the ceramic in the white, and maybe 0.5 millimeter bake for the red. In this point, usually I go to a 1 millimeter thickness for the red. That is my taste. Usually in this point, we send in the cases for a trying. I like to try all my cases before I really finish. I know it's an inconvenience, but in the patient's mind, when you say we're gonna try the case, they don't expect in the delivery. A lot of people, a lot of offices, they say, next time it's gonna be finished and we're gonna deliver the case, and then next time it's going and you have to make any adjustment in the occlusion surface or something is not right with the color, the case is gonna come back and the patient doesn't feel right. Start losing the trust in you guys because you promised you're gonna deliver something you didn't. The lowers is very simple. Some zirconia crowns, the same. That are monolithic, and a little bit they're gonna show a little bit more about the color. Monolithic in the posterior, I'm fine with that. I love it. Single unit monolithic today, and especially with the ST zirconia, is coming very nice in the mouth. The only thing is when you do a monolithic crown, take me 2 or 3 stained glaze stains before a glaze. It's not like you do in one shot, and the infiltration process also takes time. Those are the crowns, and like I said before, I send them for a try, and we got these little things. It's me. Yeah, it's me. I missed it. I missed it. And, but that's the reason we have to try. And that way, the doctor take the pictures, take some records, inject a little bit of light body material here. And that way we can add the ceramic. That is why I say, usually when I do a try-on, I only go 50% of my pin ceramic. And that way, the other 50% is going to be after that. If the color is right, it's going to the right direction, I can go from this to this in one try. And, I need to understand the last layer is the most important for me on the ceramic, because the last layer of ceramic, usually I don't glaze the ceramic. I go a little bit, I finish, then I just pumice and diamond compounds. Everything after is abrasive with the diamonds, but I like to not glaze the pin, because in nature, tissue is not shiny because of enamel, it's just shiny because of the saliva. And I like to keep these areas without, or where we call as a natural glaze. This is the case delivered in the mouth. That is for us. That is usually the cases I present to my other patients. And I've been taking a lot of pictures through the time. And this presentation I'm showing it to you guys is very important for me, because usually these are the presentation I use them for the patients. When the patients come to my office or a doctor asks me what we can do in this case, Victor, what you do different for what is the plan, is I grab the presentation and we can work with that, and I can show what I've done in the past. This is the case after 2 years in the patient's mouth. Hygiene is not the best. Look at this. Look at this recession. He wants to do something here. He asked me to do something there, if we can remake it, because he say the crown doesn't look good. I say, it's not the crown, it's your hygiene, it's the tissue. Look at this area. I think in one point we're gonna remake it. We've been thinking about it. It's not what we're looking. Okay, we have 3 more minutes. This is my last patient. This is the same. Patients are coming. This is a nice case. This is truly the way we do cases today. We don't take, for the last 3 years, we've been doing fully digital, the full mouth cases. We're planning the design, we're planning all the framework designs from the surgery. Basically, we take the record. This is the way the patients present into the office. Crazy. Young guy, this problem. We have the opportunity to look at a beautiful arch. We have a lot of bone, a lot of tissue to work. What are we gonna do with this? We have to, the first thing we do is we go all the way digital. We send it to the center. They design the whole case. They provide us, all the guidance today. You can go for the pin guide. This is awesome for the dentist. This is one of the beautiful things I ever see. They blew my eyes when I saw that for the first time, the design. And then you have the bone reduction. The bone reduction is going to be stackable with the implant placement. And in the same time, it's going to be stackable for the temporary. And that way, we never lose orientation. But this is the way we have to go into the patient's mouth. We place the pin guide, is basically patients bite into the occlusion. It's comfortable. We put the 4 or 5 pins, depends how many we decide to go. After that, we remove this, or the doctor remove one. I only been one time in my life in this kind of surgeries. After that, after I got my pictures, I don't have to go back anymore, basically, and they know exactly what they're doing. But after that, they put the first guy, what is going to be the bone reduction. They have to cut the bone and make the space. Then the second one is awesome, because then in top of that one, without removing the pins, without removing anything, we can stack the implant guidance. And I gotta go back and say this, guys, this is my design with the dentist. It's not their design and then Victor, what you can do here, because that usually was the problem in the past. We do the same, everything in the planning, pretty much we already, before going to the surgery, we already choose what kind of multi-unit abutments we're gonna use it. We have the temporary is already pretty much finished, ready to be loaded. I was not really happy with this print. I know, guys, printing is far away to be pretty. Unfortunately, when we printing for surgeries, I cannot modify anything, basically because everything has to stack, everything has to fit the same way. And that way I avoid to touch it. I just leave the way it's coming from the printing. We take off the screws, we clean it, we glaze it, we painting some pink, and that's it. After that, when he was placement, he discovered in one of the anterior implants some bone deficit, and we have to add some bone. And because we have 6 implants, we decided just to load the 4 and leave these 2 for the moment with the bone grafting and wait a few months before we come back and load the 2 anteriors. That is really easy to do it. But let me go back a little bit here. You see, the temporary is flat. That is my framework design. That is my prosthesis design. We have to design everything flat, and that way patient can clean. And you're gonna see the difference, as much flat I can go with the time, as much we follow the rules and we don't compromise the integral surface in the temporary, we are getting better and better results. Sorry, it's coming slow again. Then from this, in this case, we don't have to duplicate anymore this one. We don't have to bring back anymore. I already have the file. I already have all my files. We do the digital, we take the new impressions for the implant positions. And from that, I can print another prototype. And when the second prototype, if you notice, I already work it off a little bit. I can make more the way I like it. At the same time, we place some implants in the lower. We make sure everything is adjusted in the plastic. Usually the way we do it today is I send them these prototypes to the doctor. He places it, he adjusted the bag, and he take a new digital impression with this close. And that way I get that new STL file, I stitch together with the original and adjusted the bite accordingly to the new position in the mouth. I really like this technique. I have a few doctors, they really love it. I have a few doctors, they don't truly see the difference. But, I feel more comfortable when they don't have to grinding my zirconia, because grinding zirconia is not a problem. It's polishing zirconia is becoming an issue every now and then. Take the time to spend and polish really nice zirconia in the patient's mouth. If it's zirconia to zirconia, no problem at all. The polishing or the finishing perfectly is when you have natural teeth and the zirconia. That can be a disaster for the natural teeth. After everything is dry in the mouth, if you notice this is a funky design, but 2 implants, the way they have to spread out, the only idea is create one crown, 2 crowns, and a little bit like a tissue pontic here. Doesn't have to be a crown. A lot of people, they try to put 3 molars or 3 bicuspids here, and they do a lot of weird things. It's just be creative. The only you need is the support. This is actually, look at this. The way this is after almost 9 months or 10 months when they remove finally to go to the final. Doesn't look nice, but you know, it's not that bad. That means the patient can clean. And remember, this patient didn't clean really good from the very start. The big difference for my frameworks today is we don't use any more TI bases unless I need to do it for many reasons. I switched to use the bar, you know, a titanium bar, what can be meal, and then we split the file and we create the zirconia. Basically, what this means is you have a bar supporting the whole zirconia. This concept is not my concept, it's not a new concept. I saw people doing this concept because basically the concept started because they didn't want to spend the amount of zirconia through the milling with the stabilizer. And what they was doing is milling 3 pieces for the full arch and cemented in top of the titanium frame. The people were, I saw a couple of people doing in Brazil, one in Argentina. They just split it here, 3 units to the back, 3 units to the back, and 6 units. And that way, you know, they can get more crowns or more bridges from the part of zirconia. That was why they created the concept of doing this. But basically, it's perfectly because what happened if this case, for one another reason, in the future, cracks, the zirconia cracks in the patient's mind, just one other reason, the doctor call you and say, hey, John, I see a small crease line is coming here. What is wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. The case can stay in the mouth without any problem because everything is crossed or stabilized by the bar, not by the zirconia. That is the main difference to use just the metal interface compared to the bar. That is for me, is a peace of mind to those cases. They never gonna come back to remake because the zirconia cracked. And I don't want to say the zirconia doesn't crack because everything can break. You know, the moment you buy something, a piece of technology, a piece of equipment, it's gonna break. It's not a matter of when it's gonna break. You know, people, they have a car without any problems. They buy a car from the best dealer, you know, never have a problem until the cars die. And some car, you buy a car and then the next day you have to take it back to the shop because something is wrong and you have to take it back to the shop. It's the same with what we do it. You know, these cases start in this point because of something, you know, it's an hour, you know, we try to restore, but I always mention to the doctors and the patients, you know, we're gonna do the best we can in my knowledge, but this can fail. I'm gonna try to do something can fail in the next 20 to 30 years. That is my goal. It fails, you know, we try the bar, make sure everything, before we cement the zirconia in top of that bar, we have to try the zirconia. You know, this is fabulous because now he can try the occlusion, he can make sure everything is the same way, he can pull it out, the doctor can truly polishing. If it's a major adjustment, he can call me and say, Victor, can you reglaze it because I did something and I have to reglaze it. Most likely, they're gonna hear from me, send me the case back, and I'm gonna polish for you because I'm not gonna put this puppy back in the oven just for that. But it's easy. And after that, we can go back and we can cement. You know, cements, we use the same cement. And personal, I using right now multi-lean cement, the implant multi-lean cement with a great results. It's a protocol for cementation. When you cementing interfaces, those interfaces can come debonding in one point. It's not because the cement is wrong or the cementation is wrong. It's not because the TI bases that are too short. A lot of people will say they are too short, 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters, 7 millimeters, they are too short. No, It's just the technique for cementation. Remember, we are technicians. We're just learning how to cement. We're going to the process to learning how to do cements. We never learn about cements. Nobody teach us what is the difference between cements. It's so funny when you're walking now into the different laboratories. They have more cements, more quantity of different cements than the clinics, you know, but this is a little bit tissue extension, I call. You know, we have the crowns, we have the only different tagular surface. I changed a little bit. I make this teeth a little bit more longer here, and that way it's more hem. I didn't want to change. This is in the patient's mouth. Hygiene is beautiful. Tissue is beautiful. I think he's happy. I think he's happy because he called me once after we delivery. He knows the rep from the implant company, and he always asks the rep to compliment us about the case. And if another dentist wants to use their implants, they can call him to give the feedback about the process. It's crazy when the patient is that happy. You know, it's because you accomplished something. We delivery where we need to. You know, trust, loyalty, respect. You fail in one, you lose all three. Remember that. You know, it's people where you dealing is. Make sure, and that is something I learned through the process. Escape for the cases you don't know how to do it. It's not a difficult patients. It's not a difficult cases. Is sometimes you don't click with the case, or you don't have enough knowledge, or you don't want to put the time to do the case, to do it. Just step back and say, unfortunately, I cannot do the case. It's better to say that than get running into the problems later on. Okay, guys, if there's any question, that concludes for today. And thank you very much for the time. Thank you. Let me turn off this. Let me see how we do this part. Somebody can hear me?
We've got one question here that's asking, what company is doing the reduction guides and planning?
Right now, you know, the case I show you is with the, it's called Galleria Perifel. It's here, it's local in Houston. I gotta be fortunate. Is the one is doing all the digital designs and all the digital planning for me is my brother, is Luis Memo Castro. He has his own company, and we join forces. We are different companies, but he's doing. I can send you his information. But if you go to Galleria Smart Design, you're gonna find him. And it's, you know, locally is great. And I don't think if he work outside of the city, because he's also see the majority of the patients.
Terrific.
More questions, guys?
Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, please put them in there. I'm gonna grab this back real quick, and sorry, let me.
Wow.
There we go. One question here. Let's see. What material did you use for the temporaries in the last case?
In the last case, we use the material is from, give me a second, from the Asiga, the 10 premium Asiga, I believe, in the early start. We have as a printer the Asiga printers. In the start we only using Asiga materials. Now the only the material I use today is Flexera. I changed my initial temporary for Flexera. Unfortunately, Flexera doesn't look that nice also, but is really strong and really easy to clean for the patient. That is the two things we've been discovering. But it's from the Asiga printer. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Let me see.
Any other question, guys? Please type them in there. here is Victor's info. So if you guys have questions, you can contact Victor directly. If you guys have any technical questions, you can contact the help desk, and either myself or Jim will be happy to help. Here's our contact info if you need to hold us.
Mm-hmm. I see here some, in the last case, I see here, which company you use. Oh, I got it. Give me a second, sorry. I got a few questions here. I can see too. They asked me a question in the last case for the rebates. We use Bisacryl, injectable Bisacryl. You know, every time we pick up the temporary in the mouth, we've been using Bisacryl, and the material is from Anaxten, USA. You can use any Bisacryl. We have a really good relation with Anax also. Between VITA and Anax is the two companies I've been working pretty much for a long time, and I got a great success in the combination of those two materials together. But it's basically Bisacryl, the material we use to add it or pick up any temporary from the patient's mouth. Will you ever create a study club for laboratories? Thank you so much for the seminar, Brian. Hey, Brian. Okay. You know, it's a lot of study clubs around for labs. I believe so. Business-wise and educational-wise, I gotta say, be in Spear today, being in Spear or Pankey or Dawson or study clubs, local study clubs where you go and work. You don't go and work, you go and learn with this group of dentists led by a periodontist or maxillofacial, because usually that's what happens when you are in that study club. First of all, you learn together with everyone. When they have the cases presentation, you have the opportunity to put your input. And if you are not in the level yet to put your input, you're going to learn from the other people. And that way, everybody's growing in the study club, everybody learning. And that way, guess what? You know, I'm here in Houston. I belong to 4 different Spear study clubs. I don't work, for example, with every single dentist in those study clubs. And actually, I only do work for a few of those ones. But every time the main doctor or the director has a case, or one of the members over there, they have a case and they say, oh my God, this is a difficult case. We saw the case, Victor put some input the last time. A long time ago, Victor was talking about that. Let's call Victor and see if he can get involved in the case. You know, I discovered it through the time to be a member of one of these the clinical study clubs. They give me the advantage to bring cases into my office and bring the cases I want to. You know, I'm being thankful because I don't have to go and advertise in my office. To get work is because I'm advertising every time I'm into the study club. With my product is with my knowledge, because like a long time I talked to one of my best friends in the industry. I don't sell WhatsApps, I sell knowledge. You know, when a doctor asks you to do a WhatsApp, it's not paying you for wax, it's paying you for the knowledge how to design a case. Because in that time, I used to charge a lot of money for my WhatsApps. And he said, well, I can get a WhatsApp from $10 a unit, you know, for another lab. I said, more than welcome. What are you going to do with that WhatsApp when you get back? You know, white wax, beautiful wax, but what are you going to do with that? You know, is the knowledge, what are you paying? And the knowledge is coming from the clinical part. Let me see another one. Okay. What your go-to YC is right now? The ST. I really love the ST for the full mouth cases. ST is, you know, give me the right opacity to create how I can say this, is give me the right opacity to create the right translucency I need for the incisal edge, but it's still not that translucent. Any of those high translucent ceramic doesn't work for hybrids. You know, even the strength, even, you know, the high translucent zirconia you can use for a hybrid, because if you cementing over the titanium bar, it's not a problem. But it's still one of the best ones for me for the cases. How the doctors telling the patients to clean around the tissue. You know, how are you doctors telling the patient how to clean around the tissue? I have a question here. Rick, great question. Is water pick. Water pick is the only way. You know, you have to push it. And today, you even have you can buy small water picks, the travel pack. You know, not even for these cases. You know, I recommend that today for a hygiene. I use it. We're using it at home all the time. And the best for the patient, you know, they can go with the floss, the super floss around. Super floss is great, but I tell you what, if you ask the patient how many times they super floss those prostheses a day, they're gonna say it's once a week. You know, it's the same way when, you know, the hygienist asks the patients how many times you floss a day, 3 times a day, and you say 1 at night. You know, and some patients they never floss. But anyway, it's another thing. I have what company, guys? Okay, we already answered that, Victor. We are creating esthetic club. Yeah. Okay. He keeps freezing. I still keep freezing. Sorry, guys. You know, it's not. I don't know what happened today. I have to blame somebody, and I'm gonna blame Comcast Infinity. I believe so. I believe so. Was my internet or my computer? If I say my computer, that means I have to go and buy another one, but I don't want to buy another one yet. I think I have another 6 months with this one before it's running out. But thank you very much for your time. Thank you, everyone. The people they still connected. I have almost 130 something people still connecting. Great. Thank you. I hope you get something from this. If I can tell you, the most important part of this lecture is get together and design the cases before the start. Oh, it's done. Hello?
Sorry, you were
Before
still. I just wanted to let you have it if you still wanted to continue to talk.
Yeah. You know, like I said, the most important you can take home today is, if you are not doing yet, get involved with your doctors from the very start in the cases. Don't wait until they bring you the case. Get involved from the start, and it's the main reason. If you go and say, doctor, this is the way I want to work today. This is the way I want to do my next cases. I can do this. I have the technology. I have Circumstance. I have esthetic. I have exocad. I have any system can do today. Every system has the ability to design, prepare, and every system has the ability to do, you know, to get the implant planner also. You can join that. You know, you can get from Strama and you can get from Blue Sky Bio, but you have to design your case before you export for the implants. If you don't want to take the time or you don't want to take the effort to study that, you know, it's plenty implant centers. They can do it for you around the United States. They are great. And the most important is, but don't wait until your doctors, they send it, you send it. You know, build up the price, build up the clientele for that, and you're gonna see the success of the business today. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you, Victor. I appreciate it. Thank you again so much. If you guys need to get a hold of Victor or have any more questions, here's his contact info. Again, if you have any technical questions, you can call myself or Jim at the help desk. If you guys have any questions about any of the product that Victor went over or talked about today, you can contact your local sales rep and they can get you pricing and information on those kinds of details. And then, of course, you know, we've got some more stuff coming up. You know, look for more stuff from Victor and from some of our other presenters here on VITA Learning. And then, of course, check us out on our social. Our VITA North America YouTube page has a lot more videos and webinars on there. And then, like I said at the beginning, for your CE credits and a copy of this program, we will send that out to you probably first of next week. So, you know, check back then. And again, thank you everyone for joining us today for another webinar of VITA Learning. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you very much for your time.